Welcome to Make a Difference with Phil Martelli. He is Phil Martelli. I am Jared Phillips, and we've got the show back on the road once again. We were in the Gibbs press room at Finneran Pavilion here on Villanova's campus. Kind of a early where in the world is Phil Martelli? You're getting ready to take in Villanova, Old Dominion as a color commentator tonight, so that would be obviously a lot of fun, but we have some other pressing matters to get to with a pair of guests in the high school ranks that are really just, I think, establishing themselves as some of the best in the sport.
Sure, there's no question. And when you hear their accolades, both have won state championships. One as a player, one as a coach. They have all the pressures of coaching at their alma mater. And I'm sure we're going to hear resonating over and over again, which is appropriate for this time of the year. But family is going to be a big deal. Going to be a focus for both of our guests who are kicking off the high school season. And we're delighted to be joined by them. And they're going to go right up there with that unbelievable list of guests we haven't missed yet.
Nope.
And we will not today. But before we do that, because of the time of the year, I want to just talk to people about family, because we're all in some form of that. And this time of the year gets you to think about it. There's more time spent with family. There's a lot of time rushing around. But if I could beg everybody to be deliberate about your time. When you are together, be together. Not, I'm on my phone, or I have to watch a football game on Thanksgiving, or now there's basketball all that time. Be deliberate about your time. Make real connections with those family members. Not just a social media connection or a connection with a niece or a nephew, because they're looking up to you. Those young children, they're connecting with their cousins. Really take time to work on those connections. I want to again be emphatic about be present. Be all the way there. And be connected with all of the things that are interest to others. This is not a time of the year where it's about you. It's about the us. Really important to express your gratitude. We've over and over and over on this show talked about thank you being so powerful. But express your gratitude. Here's an interesting conversation starter. If you walk up to a family member and ask them, how can I help? How can I help? They might be so off guard. They might not have thought about it. But you know what? When they do need help, they may reach out. It may be just a conversation. It may be help with, hey, I need to find a doctor. I need to find financial advice, whatever it would be. Use that. How can I help to start a conversation? And then a really, really vulnerable statement to make to others. I need help. I need help. Followed up with, I need you. I need you. I don't want you. I need you to be engaged in this project, this activity, this conversation. So really at this time of the year, this next 6 weeks, really invest in your family. Sometimes that's all you have, but it's all you need.
Beautifully said. And I have to imagine there's a Martelli minute coming down the pipeline that
there's a Martelli
that
minute,
ties
sure.
that in,
yeah, for sure,
like a bow.
For sure. Martelli minute every day, 6:30, Instagram, Phil_Martelli, and the Martelli minute will be on the road, but we'll be phoning in to make sure that it's out there.
Of course.
Okay. Maybe we'll fudge a little bit on Thanksgiving and some of the break time, but just about every morning, 6:30. Status Solutions has stayed with us. Status Solutions providing safety technology to our schools. You want to learn more? StatusSolutions.com. Communities investing in their schools. So we'll start with one word: perseverance. Followed by always be true to yourself. When you aren't, others know immediately. So if you're not who you really are, others notice it. And they know it right away. It doesn't take them time to process that. Be a great teammate. Be a great family member by listening. You have no say on how much time you have. What you have total control over is when and how you use your time. How you use your time is in your heart, in your control. Be value driven, not possession driven, not likes in the social media world. Be value driven. And then always do what you know is right. We all know. So do what you know is right. And certainly our guest, they've done what is right. And they've done all those things. Perseverance has been part of it. They are great teammates. They are champions, but they have championship DNA, not just champions because they won on a court or on a scoreboard, but they have championship DNA. And to highlight high school basketball, because can't you feel it? Right after Thanksgiving, you can get that feel again of high school hoops is back. And we have two of the best doing it in our area joining us in our guest segment. Should be another great one. Wow. The guest segment today, here's the deal. Both of our coaches who are coming on are coaching at their alma mater, which is a pressure in and of itself. Our first guest, 3 state championships, 6 Catholic League championships, 3 as a player, 2 as an assistant, and 1 as a head coach. 1,000 points plus at O'Hara, 1,000 points plus at LaSalle, Big 5 Hall of Fame, LaSalle Hall of Fame, Delco Hall of Fame. And Delco, that's a really big deal, as we have found out.
Are you in the Delco Hall of Fame?
Yes, I am.
Okay, just checking.
O'Hara Hall of Fame. First mom, daughter to win 2 state championships. Mother of 4. And one of the finest ever at O'Hara. Please welcome Chrissie Doogan. Chrissie, thank you for joining us on Make a Difference.
Thank you. Quite an introduction. Happy to be here.
We work on that. I want to start with this idea. The role of your family in your opportunity and your ability to coach. Talk to us about your family role in all of this.
Yeah, I mean, it means everything. When I stopped coaching college basketball, Linus McGinty was the head coach here at O'Hara, and they reached out and asked me to be the assistant. And I had a 9-month-old, and I said, Linus, I come with 4 kids in tow. Like, if you're okay with my 9-month-old crawling around the gym, then I'd love to do it, because I actually really like high school coaching. I think the kids are hungry. They're still trying to get better. Sometimes when you get to college, you know, they're looking for jobs and looking to move on and get married and all that stuff. So high school, they're still really trying to improve their game. And so with my family, you know, I think Maggie was in 6th grade when I took the job. So I got to be an assistant for a little while, and then Linus left, and I was able to coach Maggie, my oldest, for 4 years. And now I have my second daughter, Katie, as a sophomore on the team. So it's actually awesome.
It's really something special.
Mm-hmm.
How about the pride that you take in repping your alma mater? You're on the sideline. You're taking your team all over the country a lot of times, certainly all over the state.
Yep.
What's that feel like when you're repping your alma mater?
The first time I got keys to the O'Hara's gym, I thought it was like Christmas morning as a 10-year-old. Like, I was like, I can get in O'Hara's gym whenever I want. And that was the coolest thing ever. I was like, this is awesome. And then now, like, coaching, I have to remind these kids that when I played, we didn't have a chance to play for a state championship. So when they go out, we were finished when the Catholic League ended. So now I remind them, like, look, you're playing for state championships that all these former players never had the opportunity to do. And I think it means something to them. I think they enjoy, you know, being able to say they won the PCL, and, you know, they just take a lot of pride in it. So it's actually really cool.
obviously a storied playing career, but now take us today's player, this player today. You used a great example. The player of your time did not play for a state championship. The PCL was your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Compare today's player to players of your ilk when you were growing up. What's different?
It's
and what's the
different. I
same?
mean, these kids today with social media have so much pressure. Not pressure, but it's just like they put unnecessary pressure on them because there's so many photographers at games and Instagram pages they want to make. And oh, Rare Footage said we were number 6. Like, why aren't we ranked this? And when we played, it was like you go play against kids all summer long at camps, and you start rivalries there. And now it's just a little bit different. Like I don't want to say they play for a different reason, but we have to try to keep them grounded. And it's like, it doesn't matter how many likes you get on your highlight reel on Instagram. Like, we want to win games, and we want to make sure that O'Hara is where it wants to be, come March.
You've had this wonderful opportunity to coach your daughter, and she's arguably, but it's not even arguable, she's the best player in the Atlantic 10 now, pursuing A10 championships at Richmond. What did that feel like?
Man, so cool. We didn't know where she was going to go. You go through this journey that starts in 5th grade with CYO and AAU, and she was this like skinny thing. In 7th grade, I was wondering if we should be paying for like club volleyball and not basketball. So to see the way she's developed and remain in love with the game, she just wants to get better. And it's like, she's 21 years old, and I don't think she's peaked yet. So it's just really fun. It's just fun. Like I said, I sent her to Richmond. I loved the school. I loved the coaches. And if she got on the court, great. But she was going to get a really good education and a really good experience. And it's just turned out awesome.
The idea of all of these players that you've been around, whether they were teammates or your current players or college players. Chrissie, what's the greatest lesson you've learned from a player that you've come in contact with?
Oh, wow. You could have warned me about this question. I would have come up with a better answer probably. But the greatest lesson is really don't get too high and don't get too low. My senior year at O'Hara, we did go undefeated, but that hasn't happened since. And that was, 25 years ago, 29 years ago now, so I try to tell these guys, like, stay grounded. Like, you're not going to win every game, and you're not going to lose every game. And you want to get better. You want to enjoy the process. You want to enjoy your teammates, your coaches. When I get kids that, will send me messages and text me on my birthday that played for me 10 years ago, like, that stuff's awesome.
Yes,
so you don't want to get too excited after wins. Celebrate them, obviously. But, we lose games in December every year. And I tell the kids, like, I don't care about December. I care about March and February. So let's use everything as learning experiences. Losses are like, when we lose, they're lessons. That's mostly what we try to teach them. And, get better every day.
The idea of memories and relationships, not these individual games. It's always about the memories and the relationships, and the fact that players reach out. And I'm sure that you've had players reach out in time of need. Hey, I just need somebody to talk to, whether they want to transfer schools, whether they want to stop playing, or somebody in family gets ill. That to me is gold. That's as big a deal as taking a medal at the PIAA championship and putting it around a kid's neck. The kid would think enough of you to reach out. And that's what everybody says about you. When everybody, so that's high praise. But you didn't get here. You didn't get here alone. You didn't become a Hall of Famer alone. You didn't become a champion alone. Whose shoulders do you stand on as a coach? Whose shoulders do you feel you're standing on every single day you're on that sideline?
Definitely my dad, probably. He's been with me all the way through, rebounding on I used to ask for a cement backyard hoop, and he was like, if you shoot enough, it'll be dirt, and that's what it'll be fine. So we had a dirt backyard, and if you shot enough hoops, you were able to, then you could dribble on it. If you shoot enough, it'll turn to dirt and you'll dribble on it. So he's still the sounding board that comes to so many games. And, after a game, I can ask questions and say, all right, should I have done this or should I have done that? And he's just kind of been with me. Now he drives to Richmond, for all their home games. He gets to cheer on his granddaughter, which is awesome too. So I would say he's kind of been with me all along.
So I'll be passing him as I'm driving to Richmond too.
You guys might as well carpool.
We should carpool because
there's a good restaurant or two right down the street from VCU. I've been to a couple.
That one, the Italian restaurant, and I'm drawing a blank. It has no sign, no reservations, and you have to go upstairs. It was unbelievable.
Those exclusive types.
It's really, really something. We always ask our guests on who's made a difference. That one question. Who's made a difference in your life, Chrissie? You mentioned your dad. Who's made that difference? Who's allowed you to become?
Yeah, I've had coaches up and down. I have a freshman on O'Hara's team this year. Her grandfather was my 5th and 6th grade coach at St. Annie's in Newtown Square. And it's so cool to be able to teach her things that I learned in 5th and 6th grade, because he really was probably one of my favorite coaches of all time. But then, Johnny Miller at LaSalle was a legend. Like when I was going into LaSalle, people would be like, "Oh, I know Johnny." Like everyone knew Johnny Miller. So that he was definitely a big part. And he's still, he'll be the first person I text on Thanksgiving morning. Like, thank you for, taking a chance on me so many years ago. He's always been there, and he will congratulate me after big wins and things like that. And then, our high school coach had a different way of coaching, but it worked. We had an awesome career here. Jack Effer was awesome. So just a bunch of coaches that have been in my corner throughout my career.
But it goes back to so many people. It starts with that first, 5th and 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
But all the time knowing that your family's over there on that sideline, it's a big plus, and it's a big part of your program. And we really wanted to use this episode of Make a Difference to highlight the greatness that all of you are doing in the high school ranks. So thank you for what you're doing.
You.
Thank you for what you're doing for basketball in this area, for the young ladies in this area. And thank you you've made a difference.
Thank you.
So thank you, Chrissie. Good luck.
Thank you. Absolutely my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Well, a high school coach, a high school hero, doing spectacular things for young people. Our guest is another All-Stater, 3rd-team All-American as a high school player, state champion as a high school player, coaching at his alma mater, was for a very long time the all-time leading scorer in one of the preeminent high school programs in the Delaware Valley, double-digit scorer in college. At one point, was in the top 3 or 4 minutes played, starts in college, a worldwide pro. He's been everywhere. Like find Waldo, find our guest, because he's played in that country. Chester County Hall of Fame, Coatesville High School Hall of Fame, and now the Coatesville High School head coach. Unique guy, a giver. John Allen. John, thank you for joining our Make a Difference podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the introduction. I forgot some of that stuff going back 25 years. So I really appreciate that introduction.
Thank you. So, John, you're coaching at your alma mater.
Yeah.
You were a state champion there. You walked those streets, you walked the hallways. How much pride and how much responsibility do you feel to give your young players and the city of Coatesville that same feeling that you gave them as a player?
It's really what we live for, right? It's what we live for. And that feeling of competing, winning, and just that, not only that season, but kind of growing up with the people that we won with that one year. There's no better feeling like it, right? In college and in Europe, professionally, you develop relationships, but it's nothing like the people you grew up winning with, the people you grew up with. So tremendous amount of pride for not only myself and my family, but the people of Coatesville. Everywhere I go in Coatesville, people are just excited about not just basketball, but sports, right? And I feel a great responsibility to help our kids achieve their goals, not only in basketball, but use basketball as a vehicle.
And that's going to lead me into this because you and I go way, way back. And I have a great appreciation for you as a teacher, mentor, and it exceeds even your role as a coach. How did you take on that responsibility as a teacher, mentor, and then became a coach? I don't think anybody should be confused that was what was important to you, teaching and mentoring these young people.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, coaching is a different beast, right? It's much different than teaching and mentoring. But for me, I had great role models. I had great role models and people that didn't want the limelight, but were always willing to help. And I have two of them on my bench now, right? My little league football coach and my baseball coach are my assistant coaches now, right? So, right, Rick Hicks. I know you know Ricky Hicks wasn't my assistant coach in high school. He's also on my bench. So for me, it was just great role models. And I know you remember Scoogie Smith. Just great role models and people around me when I was growing up that made me say, okay, this is actually cool. I want to do the same thing that they're doing.
So you've read my mind or you saw a script because my next question was going to be, I want you to brag about and talk about the guys who work with you and not for you. You all work for Coatesville and those young people, but those guys that work with you every single day, they drive the van in the summer because I know you play in every single event. So talk about those guys, John.
Yep. So Mark Bailey is he was my coach, my baseball coach, my football coach from the time I was 8 years old and until they started throwing curveballs at 13 and I had to get out of baseball. But he just kind of does everything. He coaches, he gives me advice still to this day. He does a little bit. He drives the van, he washes the uniforms whenever we need them. So he's really the engine that makes everything go and allows me to just focus on basketball. And then you got Ricky Hicks. Ricky, we can't get him out the gym. We can't get him out the gym. He was in the gym.
That's been forever.
Some of our guys. Yeah, he was in the gym today. And then we have some other coaches, like one of the guys I played with. He played at Kutztown, Tyree Brickers. Markel Jones was a guy a coach that I hired when I was an athletic director. So not just basketball people, but really, really, really mentors and people who want to not only teach kids, but like grab kids and say, no, you're going this way. You're not going the other way.
Yep. So, John, you're on the speed dial, if that's still a thing, a speed dial thing. I don't know if that's the way people communicate or texting or whatever, but every college coach wants to talk to you. Every single college coach is now your friend. How are you dealing with handling the best high school sophomore in the country is on John's team? How are you dealing with all that, John?
It's flattering, but as someone who's been in that position, I can only try to guide him. He actually comes from a great family. His parents, they trust me and allow me to coach him as hard as I want. But I've been through the process as an AAU coach, as a player, and now as a high school coach. And I think now there's more pitfalls for kids to there's more things that happen with NIL and there's money being thrown around. So our main focus is just to keep him in the gym, keep him learning, and keep him grounded. I think that's one of the things that, I talk to his mom about all the time is just keeping him grounded, but also keep him working hard and keeping the main thing. So for me, I think just somebody I've been through it as a player and as a coach before. When I get on the phone with some of these coaches, I talk about old times, when I played or some people that they may know that I played against. And when it's his time to talk and his family's time to talk, as you know, they can't talk to him yet. But when it's his time to talk, they'll tell their story. So we're just keeping them grounded and keeping everything smooth.
He's worth the price of admission, though. Yes, John?
Absolutely, absolutely. I share your sentiment that he's the best sophomore in the country. I've seen most of the top guys, and I tried to follow him around a little bit this summer. Um, it's really hard now with we're high school coaches. We're not college coaches, so it's hard to get a ticket everywhere. But I tried to follow him around and seen him play against some of the top guys and play with the top guys, and I think he's right there at the top.
So, high school basketball today. Take us through the pluses, and what are some of the pitfalls that you're seeing with the high school, not just the player, but the whole atmosphere around high school basketball?
Well, I think that the biggest thing is, and this is a good and bad thing, is social media, right? I think, kids don't give themselves a chance to develop with social media, right? Because they all feel like they should be doing what they see on social media. So they feel like they should be growing up too fast, or their game should be developing too fast, or this person got an offer and I didn't. And then the transfers, obviously, people are transferring now, committing to high school, which that was not a thing when I was going through it, right? So I think those things, like, you can see everything with social media. And I think social media is a good thing because it creates exposure. It creates exposure to, a lot of, Coastville, we get our fair amount of exposure, but even, some other places, they don't get as much exposure. So I think it creates a lot of exposure for those kids. But there's just so much out there because of social media that it's turning these kids' head in both ways. And that's sometimes hard to keep them on the same track. So I think that's probably the biggest thing.
And if we could beg everybody out there, Colton Hiller is his player that we were talking about earlier. But if we could just let kids be kids, that would be a huge step forward. Not in basketball, societal. Like, just let a kid be a kid. And John makes a great point. We're not. We're rushing everything, and we're ranking everything, and we're comparing everything. Comparison is a death knell. We have to avoid that at all cost. So, John, you're on that sideline. Whose shoulders are you standing on? Who are those coaches that raised you up? You talked about Little League, and that sideline at Coatesville has been blessed with some of the best ever.
Yep.
Whose shoulders are you standing on?
So many. I think back to college, and I talk to a lot of people, and I've never heard anyone say one bad thing about my college coach, Lewis Orr. He was a great man. He was a great man, a God-fearing man, and I took a lot from him. Obviously, the coaches growing up, Skoogie Smith was another one that I just took so much from as a person. These were giants in my eyes, right? And I think that if you knew these people, those two right off the top of my head, if you knew those people, you knew them as people first, and you respected them as people first. And for me, that's what I want. Win or lose in basketball and sports, you win or you lose, but your legacy and the person that you are lives on forever. So I would say those two are guys that I really looked up to. And then growing up, my dad is from South Philly, so he's a big John Chaney guy. So I just remember him saying, "Hey, John Chaney will play anybody, anywhere."
Yes.
And just the person that he was, met him, got a chance to meet him a few times. He recruited me a little bit. So I think, Coach Orr, Skoog, John Chaney from afar, those are some of the legends and the people that I'm like, okay, if I can be like those people, then I'll be okay as a person. And and then basketball will come.
And that's exactly where I wanted to go on our segment here. We've been so fortunate that you've joined us. We like to ask our guests this question: who's made a difference in John Allen's life?
Start my parents.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if that's cliche, but um, we did the whole recruiting thing. We went through the whole recruiting thing 25 years ago, and my dad was giving me advice and telling me what to do and what not to do. And I talked to him this morning, and he was doing the same thing that he was doing 25 years ago, right? Telling me what to do and what not to do with my kids. So my dad has always stood tall, and he's always been a not only he's been a monumental, like a big figure in my life. So anything that's happened, whether it was celebrity or I was growing up too fast, he was there. He was there, and he was there to let me know. And he was, like a god in my eyes. So my dad, and then obviously mom. Mom is the other one. We can't say enough about our mothers and the love that they show us, the unconditional love that they show us, and support that they show us. And my mom, she's not social media savvy, but anytime you see her, she'll get on social media and like a picture and comment on a picture, and it's like, oh, mom, you can't say those type of things on social media, right? So a mom's love is unconditional, and really those are the people who shaped me and molded me. My family bond and our family bond here in Coatesville is second to none. So yeah, that's kind of where I would go with that.
Well, John, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you for all you're doing for the young people, for all you're doing for your community. And we'll be watching closely. And I just a little added pressure. We always have a segment in March where we invite the state champions onto our podcast. So you might be repeating it. You might be repeating, John. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, we'll put in state championship work. So we'll make
There
sure
you
we
go.
put in the work to be state
That's all.
champions, and we'll let the chips fall where they may.
There you go.
John, I got
thank you.
just one request, if you don't mind. I'm Bishop Shanahan grad, and please don't beat up on us too bad this year. I think it might get ugly, but please go easy. If you don't mind.
They always make it tough for us. They got it. They almost got us last year. We went to overtime with them last year, and Coach Doc is doing a great job over there. And he actually reminded me. I read a quote from him. He said, he doesn't want to be good now. He wants to be good in March. So I always try to remind myself of that, and that came from him. So I'm a big fan of what Coach Doc is doing at Shanahan.
Appreciate
John,
that.
thank you. We're big fans of yours.
Yeah. Thank you, John.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, high school hoops is in good hands with John Allen and Chrissie Doogan. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Two really, really impressive high school coaches. I don't know. I think John might go back in his word. I'm worried they're going to kick Shanahan's butt, but they're obviously should be one of the best teams in the state. O'Hara's a perennial powerhouse. It's going to be exciting to see what they can do this season, and how fun would that be if they're back on here in a few months?
Yeah, we're going to have that segment again. Catholic League champs, state champs, and where we started with family, you could feel it from both of them. How cool must it be for Chrissie to watch her daughter Maggie? She's the best player in the Atlantic 10. And I believe Richmond is top 1 or 2 in the league to be an NCAA tournament team. So really neat.
It's really, that's got to be, I can't imagine what that must feel like.
I might, and in fact, because her father drives back and forth. So Maggie's grandfather's driving back and forth to Richmond. I might start thumbing again.
Yeah.
Just get out there and see if I can get picked up on 95.
Seems like, you two are making the same trip. Just gotta build the schedule around it, right?
We just move a little bit. But for all of our coaches out there, I've really enjoyed, and we're getting great feedback on coaching corner. So I want to focus today on, again, you picked it up with Chrissie and with John, that a coach needs to be a teacher, but they also need to be a student. So you're always teaching. And you're teaching through your words and through your actions. So the words we use are important. Young people hear, we hope they listen, because listening is more powerful than hearing, but your words matter. Your reaction to stress and to challenges. High school coaches, we didn't get into it, but you certainly know that a high school coach can walk in and the gym's set up for some other performance, or the buses are late. how you react trickles down to your players. Reaction to a call on the floor. How many times have you seen a coach maybe bark and now the players start barking, but yet we're always saying to them, don't get involved in that. They have to, because you're their teacher. They see that. Your organizational skills. You have to respect each other's time. That starts with the families and the players and the managers and the bus drivers and the superintendent. Everybody's time is of value. You, as the teacher, have to have exquisite organizational skills. And then as a teacher, you're living for others. You're living for others. All of those things go into, yes, coaching and being in the coach's corner. And then I turn it around and say to every coach out there, every CEO out there, every teacher out there, what can you learn from your players? Are you paying attention enough so that you can learn from your players? What are you learning from situations on the court and off the court? Situations arise all the time. What you learn from those? What you learn from scouting? You're scouting a game, and maybe it's Cardinal O'Hara against Archbishop Carroll. What is it that Carroll's doing that you can then put into your library, into your kind of toolbox that maybe you're going to use a little bit later? What have you learned from other leaders? Corporate leaders, school leaders, community leaders. So as a coach, every day, teach and every day learn. And guess what? You're never done. You're never done. You can win championships and you're on to the next day. So for all of our coaches out there, really zero in. Whom did I teach? What did I learn? Rinse and repeat. Whom did I teach? What did I learn? Coach's Corner.
Another clinic by you, should I say?
Well, I hope so.
Well, you haven't touched too much on this Wildcat backdrop here, and I feel like people are kind of itching and clawing and wondering, where the heck have you been?
Well, you know what? We're going to shorten that up as we move forward. But the highlight was 49th wedding anniversary. And there would be no podcast and there would be no basketball career without Judy, right? And everybody watching has an idea that she's in the Basketball Hall of Fame, 3-time national champion. Did you know that at one point in her life, she was an assistant basketball coach at Villanova University?
I did not know that.
Yes. For 2 years, she was an assistant basketball coach. She was working in a bank and coming here. They were all part-time. And then they decided to take the job full-time, which would have included recruiting. And I was starting my career. So she walked away. But she has a connection with Villanova. And also the game is the centerpiece of our meeting. People will say, where did you meet 50 years ago? At a summer basketball camp, Kathy Rush basketball camp. Judy was a counselor. I was a first-time counselor. Walked up the steps to the lodge to go to the first meeting. And I looked to my left and I said, that girl's pretty attractive. Not knowing that she was a Mighty Mac, not knowing she was a national champ, but knowing that for as pretty on the outside, what her heart and soul was. And that's why that was a real celebration. 49 years. And I have certainly been blessed with an unbelievable relationship. So thanks to her. And she is refusing to be a guest. But we're going to keep breaking down.
That was one of the first ones I proposed. I was like, there'd be too much fun, but I think
we're going to start breaking that down.
She puts up with enough of us, doing it in the living room every week.
Right.
So that's fair.
And then where am I going? So again, we go back to family, and I'm going to have a wonderful opportunity to go to Atlantis for the Battle of Atlantis, or Battle for Atlantis. VCU will be playing South Florida, and then maybe Vanderbilt, Western Kentucky, St. Mary's, Colorado State, Virginia Tech, Wichita State. Terrific field. I'll be anxious to prepare for next week's guest, because next week's guest, we go deep into the hoops world with a name synonymous nationally with basketball, and he is everywhere. We've had a number of those guests. But then we're going to have a podcast. We're going to do back-to-back next week with a leading authority that came to you. And what is he doing? Making a difference. Looking forward to preparing for that. I'm going to have a catch-up meeting with the Widener development people, see all the good things that are going down in Chester. The Philadelphia Labor Classic, Jim Dillon has taken that task on, and he's about ready to announce a major competition between the unions and Big Five basketball. We're going to get more in detail on that. And then I'll have a terrific opportunity to meet with a high school basketball team, Murray and Mercy. They have what they call a Wisdom Wednesday. And they ask people from all different walks of life to come in and talk to the young ladies about how this basketball is going to take them. Not take them to college, or it's going to take them through life. By what wisdoms did they pick up? I am excited and deeply appreciative. Missy Doherty has reached out, and I'll be doing that. And guess what? It's December. So there's a lot of hoops, not just Feast Week, but there's a lot of hoops.
A lot of
league
hoops.
play starts.
Mhm.
So we'll be talking about that as we go forward.
Wisdom Wednesday, I like. So it sounds like a good backdrop for a Martelli minute.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to get quite a few Martelli
I
minutes.
bet.
And I'm just checking on you. You're all right?
No.
Okay, that's the appropriate answer.
I got no answers for you at this point.
I just want to be correct. Ahead 21-0. Did the offense, was there mishaps on offense? What was
There were, a
being
few.
that
I mean,
you are a football aficionado?
Saquon Barkley fumbled. Xavier Gibson, for no reason, fielded a punt inside the 5, proceeded to fumble, give that back to the Cowboys. The offense looked great. 21 first half points. It seemed like, okay, like you're going to run away with this game. And then I think they went into ultra conservative, don't turn the ball over mode, but they turned the ball over anyway. And Cowboys took advantage. They're a good offense. So it's not that the sky's not falling. It's not the end of the world. They should be able to beat the Bears on Friday. And then, then they go to the Chargers, which I'll be there for that. And
There you go.
well, yeah, I've been in entirely too many Eagles games this season, but
So let me ask you a question. The social media clip that's out there, everybody involved in any activity in life should see the performance on this one play by the Cowboys special teamer. Have you seen this? He gets knocked down. He gets rolling around. He gets knocked down again. He keeps going, and he causes a fumble. And I find out that he's a free agent. So he scratched and clawed his way onto a play that should be on every reel, on every team in America. Spectacular play. Unfortunate for the
I was going to
Birds.
say, let's not give him too much credit. I mean,
No, it was a spectacular
no, great
play.
effort. It was I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes,
It was impressive.
It's out there,
but
and you have to see it. But you know what? I think we still have to go with Go Birds.
and
you're
go
gonna
Rams.
you're gonna have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
gonna have to lift
can do
yourself
it.
up.
We can do it, but-
we've got Go Rams and Go Birds, and to everybody out there,
Yeah. Well,
great Thanksgiving.
let's just to wrap things up, though, if you are looking to make a difference with Phil, head on over to pnjmakeadifference.com. That is where you can get in touch with Phil, tell him your story, and help make a difference in the classroom, in the workplace, on the court or off the court. We are at Make a Difference Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. at Make a Diff Pod on X, Make a Difference with Phil Martelli on Facebook. If you are watching on YouTube, feel free to like and subscribe. If you are listening on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast, please, 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 we would love that 5-star rating. Our thanks again to Chrissie Doogan and John Allen for joining the show. Two terrific high school coaches at their alma maters doing terrific work. And yeah, we have a big guest coming up next week that is going to definitely give us some great insight into what's happening in the college hoops world. Hopefully you give some great insight into Villanova Old Dominion tonight. That should be a lot of fun, that game as well. We're very appreciative of the folks here at Villanova for giving us the Gibbs press room. A wonderful great lighting, wonderful backdrop here. I don't know, maybe we set this up.
No, we're not coming back again.
Well, I guess that's it then. Go Birds, go Rams.
Go Rams, go Birds.